The time is going to pass anyway. You can either spend time creating the life that you want or spend it living a life that you don't. The choice is yours. So, what's it going to be? A dream life varies from one person to the next. It's never the same. If that dream life looks like Lambo life in Dubai, then good for you. If that's financial freedom for you and the kids, awesome. If it's a digital nomad life where you travel around the world for the rest of your life, then I'm proud of you. If it's just getting enough so you don't feel like you're sinking all the time, then hats off to you too. There is no wrong or right way to enjoy a dream. But if you're serious about changing your life, you will find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. For most people, they just want to enjoy something that makes them enough money to enjoy the now while still creating a decent pot of cash for themselves, so it doesn't mean that they're on the breadline when it comes to their later years.
Please, sir, I want some more.
But is that a dream life? You have to decide that. Honestly, the world is your oyster. There's never been a better time to make a success of yourself, so aspiring to create a dream, whatever that looks like, is a noble pursuit in my opinion. So that's what we're going to help uncover today, working out how much you really need for your own dream life. I'll show you how to build a figure that actually works, how to create a plan to get there, and how to speed it up by adding new income streams. First up, we're going to break it down. For me, my dream life could look something like this: a successful business, 2 kids, healthy marriage, 3 to 4 holidays a year, a 4-bedroom house by the coast that we live in, a 2-bedroom flat in London which I use for work, 2 to 3 buy-to-lets that are bringing in some income, and of course a Porsche 911 Turbo. Now, yours could look completely different to this, and that's totally cool, but for me, this is what I'm building towards. But to get to that level, as you can see, it's going to take me significant capital to get there. So I'm looking at that list. It could be quite overwhelming, especially when you're starting from scratch or you're just working a 9 to 5 and you're tucking a little bit away here and there right now. I totally get that. But seriously, for me to reach my own list, I know that I'm never going to do that with a 9 to 5. And that's something that I am well aware of. I'm going to need multiple income streams and I'm going to need to be an owner. I'll work that through with you later on in this video, but first we want to think about your list. So start by creating 2 lists. One should be what you think you can achieve and you're being realistic about it. We have to train our minds to believe that striving for something greater than the now is actually possible here. The second list is your dream list. This is the real deal. Make this list double of everything you thought was achievable on list 1. Don't put any costs in there yet, but just get this down and then take a look back at the 2 lists you've created. Now, essentially, somewhere in the middle is where I think you should probably be aiming for here, because that's pretty realistic if you actually put your mind to it. Now, we're going to start breaking this down by working out your FIRE number, your financial freedom number. So financial independence, retire early is the FIRE acronym here. And this is where you no longer need to rely on a 9 to 5 and you have enough money to supplement your current lifestyle or indeed aspirational lifestyle. Now, if you're struggling to create solid lists, then a great place to start is by getting a FIRE number. Now, a simple way to work this out is current monthly expenses times 12 times 25. So an example could be £1,500 times 12 equals £18,000. We take that £18,000 times that by 25 and that gives us £450,000. Now, if you wanted to step this up and create something that's a bit more aspirational, so we could do a lifestyle example with a desired expense of £5,000 a month times 12 times 25 and that gives you 1.5 million. This gives you a great base to work from. And then in a moment, we'll make a plan for how we're going to build towards this number. The reason why we do a FIRE number is because we can then draw that income down using the 4% rule from the amount that we decide on. This covers our lifestyle, and if invested in the right places, it will continue to rise as well. So what steps do you need to take to get to this point? The reason why I like this exercise is because you quickly realize you have to start taking some risks, otherwise you'll be stuck doing the same thing for the rest of your life. And next up, we want to break this down and create costs for our dream life. So we've got our FIRE number and what it actually costs to run our life. We then want to add in our dream list. Start at the top with the financial freedom number and then put in place a cost analysis on all of the other items on that list. So you've got your car. How much is the car? The house? The holidays a year? Essentially, we want to stack it all up and then coming in with your final figure at the bottom. By doing this, you're going to see that immediately you're probably going to need to add some increased income or change the way that you're handling your money. Now, let's take my list from before and add some costs to it. I'm going to remove the successful business and healthy marriage as they're pretty much impossible to quantify here, but everything else very much is. So 2 kids, around about £300,000. They say kids cost 150 grand each. 3 to 4 holidays a year at £15,000 a year. 4-bedroom house by the coast at 500 grand. 2-bedroom flat in London, 500 grand. 2 to 3 buy-to-lets bringing in the income, £100,000 £150,000 to get that started, Porsche 911 Turbo at £120,000, a fire number at 1.8 million, and a dream life for me costs £3.5 million. Okay, so now I can add back in the business to the mix. I know I need my business to generate significantly more income than it currently does, even though its current revenue is actually way more than I ever earned in my 9 to 5. I know that I'm going to have to break down this number, as 3.5 million is no small change here. If I'm going to get to what I want, I know I'm going to need to put the work in, which is absolutely fine, but at least now that I know this, it's such a powerful exercise. We now know our figure, we want to start making a plan. So instead of looking at that list and going, Jesus, how am I going to get there? I like to create a plan by working backwards, essentially reverse engineering the entire process. We put our main goal into 5 actionable steps on how we're actually going to achieve this. We then take those steps and reverse engineer each one. So starting from step 1 and creating 3 smaller steps for step 1, and then doing the same for step 2 to step 3, right up to the big one at step 5. What this does is creates positive loops around your journey by setting and striving towards a series of smaller goals, and suddenly it makes the whole thing actually possible. You've broken down your list and you've got 15 steps. Now, looking at that list broken down in this way, it doesn't actually seem that hard. Every day it's going to get a little bit easier. It's choosing to work towards it every day that's going to be hard. I've built a very simple framework that you can use for free, and there's a link in the caption below. Just do me a favor and hit subscribe if you haven't already. But next is making this possible, and to do that, you must become an owner. Even if we took the more modest fire number of £450,000 without any of our dream list added, let's be honest, you stashing away money into a savings account from your 9 to 5 is going to take you forever. You're also highly unlikely to actually reach it in your lifetime. And if you're just relying on the 9 to 5, you're at the mercy of a boss that could wake up and decide he's going to cut your department tomorrow. To get to any kind of financial freedom and security, we simply must become an owner. An owner of stocks, an owner of businesses, an owner of property, of products, of software, an owner of something which helps generate income outside of your 9 to 5 that you're currently working. It really is that simple. And luckily for you, the everyday person can now do that with a smartphone and £1 in their pocket. You could literally get started right now, before this video even ends, by setting up an investment account and popping your £1 in and buying a company stock. Woohoo! You're now an owner. Then it becomes about stacking this and pushing towards becoming a multiple owner. You don't just want to have one here, you want to try and build on the initial investment. Now, you could achieve your fire number by simply investing into global index funds and taking your 8 to 10% average return rate a year and keeping everything else the same in your life. It's going to take you 30 to 40 years to reach your fire number, but it'll be more than possible to reach it. But does that actually look like a dream life? You have to decide that. Or you could look to increase this process by side hustling here and there and reinvesting the profits, or you could build something on the side that generates a few £100 a month, or you could go full hog and build a business which surpasses your 9 to 5 income and becomes the main thing here. 86% of millionaires are business owners. That says a lot really, doesn't it? For me, building a business is such a powerful way to increase income and then reinvesting those profits back to buy more assets, essentially creating a snowball effect where you push it off and it just grows as you buy more and more assets. Yes, it takes hard work, dedication and upskilling, but for me, those are 3 non-negotiables anyway, so I'm like, sign me up, son. I created a program where you can do exactly that in a niche you're already passionate about, selling digital products on social media, called A Couch to 5 Grand. If you're interested, there's a free training on how to do that in the description below. But next up, I want to talk about investing in yourself. Steve Jobs said never stop learning, and I truly believe this is a mantra for life. You should always be looking to forward yourself towards some sort of goal, otherwise we stagnate, which leads to feeling lost and equally likely some financial problems along the way too. So take that evening course, read a book, listen to some podcasts, dive into YouTube, just do whatever it takes to keep yourself moving forwards. If building a business isn't something you're interested in, then don't worry, it's not for everyone, but the owner statement still 100% stands. You could look to level up your skill set so you become more valuable in the workplace. That in turn could then lead to pay rises, and with those increases in pay, you could then buy assets which take you to your goals a lot faster. You don't have to own a business, you could own a small equity stake in it. So don't lifestyle inflate as you get more money in, as that will just keep you right where you are. You could look to level up your skill set so you become more valuable in the workplace. It can then lead to pay rises, and with those increases in pay, you can then buy assets which take you to your goal a lot faster. Don't lifestyle inflate when you get a pay rise, as that will keep you right where you are. Now, I want to continue on this pathway with you and go through the steps on building wealth, which we can do on my next video, which is coming up right now, the optimal way to build wealth in 2024 from scratch. I know you'll love it, so I'll see you over there, and cheers for tuning in.